Hi, we're back with Orphan Culture, and I'm Susan Kay. Today I want to go back and just talk some more about being in a state of belonging. I think it's interesting that in order to really find belonging in your life, you have to start with yourself. Belonging to yourself creates a sense of wholeness within your own being. And it takes a lot of work. For some of us, it's taken most of our lives to gather those parts of ourselves that maybe we lost as children, we lost to the culture itself. For my case, I lost to a religion, an ideology, a belief system that told me that I wasn't worth anything and that I could only belong if I sent my will and my whole being over to someone else to take care of it. And so we go through these journeys of self-discovery, and we go through these journeys of recollecting ourselves, recollecting those parts of ourselves that maybe someone took from us, whether it's sexual abuse or other kinds of abuse, just the way we were raised. I believe we lose parts of ourselves in the school system. I believe we lose parts of ourselves in our religion. We lose parts of ourselves sometimes in our family structures. And there's no, it's not a thing where I think we should sit around and blame others for these things. This is just the way life is. And for some of us, it's been more that way than others. But that's okay. There is a place in life, and there is a place you can get to where you can recollect yourself and bring home to yourself. And that is a lifelong journey usually, and it may take therapy. For me, it took therapy for a while. For me, it's just taken a lot of hard work, a lot of re-examining things and prioritizing things in my life, deciding what is good for me, what is not good for me, what it is I actually believe and what it is I don't believe, being able to let go of things that other people will judge me for letting go of them. And yet I do anyway, because it's not about other people. It's not about belonging to other people. It's about belonging to myself. And when we belong to ourselves fully, then we can actually give ourselves to others, because we're bringing health. We're bringing a state of healthfulness, healthiness to the world around us. And when we are giving ourselves to others, we are giving ourselves in a way that does not hurt ourselves and does not harm others. The problem in our community and in our culture as a whole, which is orphan culture is that thing of not belonging to ourselves, of being lost without identity, without knowing who we are and what we believe. That's all orphan culture. And when we bring that to a situation, it's usually for the sake of either finding an identity or feeling like you matter, which is, I guess, the same thing. So many times people join groups. We are living in a very scary society at this point in time, where there are a lot of groups to join. Most of them are political or have some sort of agenda where there is power and control. So true belonging and true connection in the world is really, has to be without power and control of others. True belonging is knowing that we can belong without changing ourselves, without demanding others change themselves for the sake of fitting in. Fitting in is the opposite of belonging. I'm taking that from Brene Brown, but I totally think that is an absolute true statement. So how do you start? For me, I had to extract myself from everything and pretty much everybody, and go off by myself in order to find myself and collect those parts of myself so that I could reconnect, but connect with others in a way that brings something positive to the table and is not in the form of neediness. So much of what we've done in our lives, I'm just putting this out there as if it's true, and maybe you don't feel it's true, but I believe that most of us, what we've done in our lives has always been for the sake of fitting in. It's how do I become part of this group and feel loved and cared for and accepted by this group, and whatever chunk of myself I have to get rid of or suppress. Let's take the LGBTQ community, for example. And I use an example of such magnitude just because it is an example of such magnitude, but we do see this in everyone. And, let's say you are attracted to the same sex or whatever, but our society has not been willing to accept that. So many people have had to get rid of that part of, or suppress that part of themselves in order to fit in to society as a whole. But that can be true of, let's say, extroverts, people who are extreme extroverts that are just really loud and really flamboyant and really, sometimes they feel like they have to suppress their personality type in order to fit in, or people who are introverted. I know that in the business world, in particular, introverts have not always been accepted. They have been seen as people who don't have that A personality, that's the go-getter personality that's going to go out and close the deal and do the deal. And so I'm just using these as examples. They're not, you may have a child who is in a family who is extremely athletic. The whole family's athletic, but then this child is a book reader. They want to read books. They want to study. They want to maybe do art. And so they find that they have to suppress themselves and extend themselves in a way in the family that is not comfortable for them, and that may not even be them. But in order to fit in, there may be that feeling, and maybe the family's not even putting that on them, but somehow that's the message that they receive. So I think you understand what I'm talking about. I think you understand that this happens to all of us. Finding and constructing ourselves as older people, it's really interesting, and it's a lot of. I am finding it to be a lot of fun because I get to examine things that I was not allowed to examine for years. Yesterday, I went to a picnic for the LGBTQ community. I am not LGBTQ. I'm totally cisgendered. I didn't even know girls could be gay until I was like a senior in high school because I had never had a thought in my life about being gay. So that's how not gay I am. But yet I find these people to be authentic and to need to have a place to express who they are. So I want to be an ally of that. Does it always make me comfortable? It does not. And I was thinking about this the other day, why it is that we are uncomfortable. What makes people uncomfortable? For instance, right now, the thing is, when I go to meetings, I say my name is Susan, and I am, my pronouns are she, her. That way people know how to address me. I have seen people who look maybe similar to me who say, my name is Susan and my pronouns are he, him. And that has a tendency to make us uncomfortable. And I was thinking about that the other day, and this relates to what I'm talking about, but it's just kind of interesting to just examine all this. Why does that make us uncomfortable? These are the questions that we need to be asking ourselves in order for our community and our society and our culture to shift from power and control to connection. If I'm looking at someone who looks like me, but they call themselves he, him, the reason that can make me uncomfortable is because my whole idea of what the world is has shifted, and it makes me feel like I am unstable. And so it really, everything that we see out in the world is we use it as a way to reflect back to who we are. So when I see someone out in the world that looks like me, but then I find out they're not like me at all, and in fact they are maybe the opposite of me, maybe I'm looking at someone that looks conservative, but they reflect back to me that they are something that's totally not conservative. It takes that ground underneath me of I know where I am and I know how I function with this person. So it is a reflection again about who I am. Everything out in the world, this is something that I believe. I'm not a psychologist. I wish I was a psychologist and a sociologist. Those are the two areas I'm very interested in, journalism. But this is what I believe. I believe that we are always looking out into the world to confirm to us who we are. We want that confirmation of ourselves. And that is why in the community that I came out of, there is so much need for everyone and everything to conform. And I believe that this is something in our society as a whole, because we don't know how to connect with that which is not us. And I believe this is something that we need to work on in our society. I need to know how to connect with people who are not me. I need to know how to, and when I say connect, I'm not just talking about some deep, heavy relationship even, but connect in a way that says, I recognize you as a human being, and that's all I need to recognize you as, because I am also a human being. To me, that's the connection we need to make in the world. And the only way we can do that in this world is to be so comfortable with who we are and so connected to our own identity and our own selfhood and sovereignty that when we look out in the world, we release people to be whoever they are. And in that way, we can connect to them without the need to try to overpower them, to change them, and to make them reflect back again to us who we are. And so a lot of that has to do with becoming unattached to ideas, unattached to doctrine, unattached to what we've always known as absolutes in this world, that, there are certain things that need to be absolute. And the only reason we have to have absolutes is because we want to control whatever's out there. So this is kind of some thoughts I've been having in the last 24 hours, and it's just something I wanted to share with you today. I hope you have gotten something out of this. Please like and subscribe to my channel. There's going to be more videos that are about kind of more diverse subjects. It's always going to come back to these general idea, though, of who are we and how are we related to the world, and what can we let go of in these times to bring about peace and comfort to all people everywhere, and allow others to be who they are as we decide who we are and how we want to function in the world. This is Susan Kay. This has been Breathing Lessons. I hope you have a wonderful week.
Thanks for watching Susan K today. To find more episodes, subscribe on the button below and be watching for more. Learn how to breathe with Susan K.